Hello, Reardan friends. Uh, this is a brief hello from me and Rapla and from our seniors fellowship. So this is something that we do every Tuesday. And some of us are seniors and some of us are youngers, juniors. But yeah, we get together and we eat a bit and we read from the Word and pray for each other. And anyway, this is my Tuesday evening, and when I get home, I'll show you a little bit of what Togo and I. Hey, Togo, wave, would you?
Hello.
Togo and I did some building this morning, so I can show you some of our progress. So, anyway, just a little brief greeting from us. Lots of love. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the homestead. I'm standing in our guest house now, and the gentleman that I introduced you to in the last clip, Togo, is a fellow that I have had, I baptized back in 2014, I believe. He came to faith and was baptized and has had a very interesting, challenging story since then. And one of the ways that I have had great success in discipling men in particular is to do something together, to do some kind of a task. So it's some talking, but it's in the context of some kind of a physical task. So he and I get together on Mondays and we build for a couple of hours. At least in the name of building, we get together and really have some good, deep conversations. So, yeah, this is what we've been working on. But really, and I'll tell you a little bit about it in just a second. But I'd love to show you the outside, by the way. But it's so dark here. It's only 6 o'clock, and we're already into the wee hours. But this is my last year in Rapla, and so a lot of what I am spending my time doing is trying to wrap up things that I have wanted to do here from the very beginning. I had a very clear sense when I came 9 years ago that I had 10 years to fulfill a particular calling that I had on my heart, which was to prepare a small church to basically be elder-led. In the event that they couldn't afford a pastor, which I think is going to be more and more of a reality in the future, that the elders would be prepared, that the congregation would have a theology that would allow that and facilitate that. And that's been a challenge. In the last 5 years, the first 5 years were about teaching, the last 5 years have been about practice, and there's a lot that's left undone that needs to be finished. So this year is a lot about that, and also about wrapping up loose ends, trying to disciple people into a good space, folks that have had challenging stories. Togo is one of those guys, great guy, but has had to overcome some things. Dealing with a lot of the mental health and spiritual health issues that have come out of the corona time. A lot of stress, which I'm sure you guys have experienced as well. So, and also trying to wrap up my things and to prepare for who might be coming next in the free church system here in Estonia. That's a responsibility that's basically on my shoulders, not on the presbyteries. In September of next year, I will set aside my pastorate, step aside, create some space. We'll still be living in Rapla, but I'll have about a year where I focus on my academic things, try to get those squared away. And we'll transition into a couple of new roles. One will be a more active role at the seminary, teaching and so on. And the other will be basically a presbytery exec for our region. So we have a region of 10, maybe 12 churches, and I'll be assuming responsibility for leadership of that region starting in September. So I'm ramping up to that right now, doing some mentoring, doing some consultation for the churches in our area. I'm part of a consultation team in our union that takes on a church basically every 6 months or so. So I have 2 churches right now that I'm doing consultation for, and then a number of mentoring relationships that I'm working through in addition to what's happening at the church. So that's kind of the trajectory of where things are headed. There will be a year of kind of a ministry pause in some ways. The 2022, half of that will be spent finishing in Rapla. The other half will be spent finishing up my PhD writing. I hope to defend in 2023 if everything goes well. And then 2023 on will be about moving into a different position. The regional position is really about facilitating networking within our region, which is a rural region. None of our churches are any bigger than Reardan. And we we have to find ways to be missional with very small resources. A lot of my job will be about finding those resources, networking the churches, and then also providing pulpit supply and vacation for pastors who otherwise wouldn't get it. All of us in Estonia, in our union in particular, are bivocational. My income, of course, comes from you all and other churches in the United States and individuals who've helped to support me over the many years. And a lot of that now is kind of coming to a head. I'm in a place now where I'm able to make some real investments that affect not only a local church, but a number of local churches and the bigger picture more systemically. But that freedom really comes from the fact that my second vocation is missionary income, and that's been a major freedom to me. It allows me to invest in places that others wouldn't be able to afford to invest in. So I'm deeply appreciative of that. We have had it on our heart for a long time now to offer some kind of radical hospitality. And the guest house that I'm standing in now, of course, there are no interior walls closed up, so it's hard to see how things lay out. But it's a mix of sauna space, which is really the way that Estonians meet and share deeply of their lives. So that's intended for our use as a family, but also for hospitality, and in particular to offer to the church as well, especially for men's meetings. It's one way that men really connect. There's also a longer stay apartment that I'm standing in right now, and Leah's mother will be living with us in the near term here. She'll be the first person to occupy this part of the house. And then there's also short stay rooms upstairs. And all of these are multi-use facilities. They're intended to be used in multiple ways. So the idea is to have this house used constantly in one way or another. So things can be moved around, shifted around, all that kind of thing. The going is slow. I've done all the building myself, minus a couple of more difficult, more challenging technical things. So I come out here when I'm done with my day's work, and I try to put in an hour or two every day, just chipping away. I'm working on electricals, you can see in the back here at the moment. Hoping to have that done. Hoping to have all of this gyprocked by the end of the year. And really the sauna is a priority. Once we get that sauna done, then we can actually start using it, and it's an important beginning. So it's something that we have also asked for a raise from Alongside for. That raise will help us to finish the project this year, and then will help us to defray the lost income that will take place once I lose my job as the pastor of the Rapla Church. That amount has been quite small. It's symbolic more than anything, but our income is also fairly meager, so every little bit counts. So this raise this year helps us to finish the remodeling project, but also to be prepared for the loss of income next year. So this is some of what we're working on. It's a lot of pans on the fire at the moment, but all of it is good stuff, and I think there's good fruit coming from it. I have not been faithful at communicating with you all, but that's not for lack of affection. I did have a chance to stop through in the summer, very briefly. We were at the end of a family trip that was really dedicated just for family this year, particularly because of Corona and because of various health issues within my home family. But I did take a Sunday to come and drop through Reardan and saw a couple of you. That was great. I wish I had longer time and maybe could have participated in a worship service, but there will be other chances. So blessings from Estonia, and you guys are always on our list and in our minds, and we really deeply appreciate your service and your partnership and keeping us in prayer. And I'll follow this video up with a letter. It's a little bit hard to explain everything that we're going through this year. There's so much of it to deal with, but I'll try to put that to paper and communicate some of that in a helpful way. So blessings and love from us. Bye.